Yay, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome so very much to this Google Hangout featured by Pragmatic Psychology. My name is Susanna Mittermaier. I'm a clinical psychologist and I'm a happy person. And I do prefer the second title. Being a psychologist and being a happy person is a good thing to be. It helps when you facilitate people and facilitate change. So today I am really thrilled to have a very special guest and a very special topic. We have today an amazing lady from LA. Her name is Sophie Mihalko. And she is not only facilitating change in the world, she's also facilitating change for her family because she has kids.
Yes, I do.
Yay. Hello, Sophie.
Hi, Susanna. I'm so happy to be here talking with you. It's always so much fun and consciousness when I talk with you.
Oh, that's so cool. And I'm so happy because today's topic is parents of kids who are different. Tools to stop feeling inadequate.
Yes.
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 Sophie, tell us about you and your life and your life with your kids in regards to that topic.
Right. So I have, I'm going to start to say that I'm different. So it's easier for me to acknowledge, different things. And when I mean different, I mean that, people that are aware of what's going on. And so I have two daughters, Ruby, who is 10, and Maya, who's 8. And Ruby is highly aware not only of what people are truly thinking and not just saying, but also of all the energies around her. So she, you will often hear her talk and have whole conversations with her special friends. and she's very, very intelligent, and sometimes she'd like to have regular interactions with people, but because she has no problem being who she is, at times it's challenging for other kids to make her fit in what they know. So it's been interesting because her dad and we divorced about a year ago, and in the last year she seemed like she was not able to make any friends, right? And it's really challenging when, as a mom, I go pick up my kid at school and she's in tears or she's so tired because she feels like nobody gets her, nobody wants to play with her. She's always on the side by herself. And as a mom, it breaks my heart, or it makes me like, man, what am I not doing? What am I not being? What am I not saying to her that I could say different that would make her happier?
Yes. So can we just address what you talked about there?
Yeah.
That's really, really brilliant. So, and I've heard this from so many people and so many parents, especially, that it breaks their heart when their kids are not happy. So, so have you decided, and I'm asking, just ask yourself that question when you're listening. How many of you have decided that it's your job to make your kids happy?
Amen, sister. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So that's what many parents think, that it's their job to make their kids happy. So my question is, truth, can you make somebody else happy?
Not if they chose not to be happy.
No, and especially not your kids, because your kids will usually probably not do what you want them to do, and they will probably always do the opposite. That's a kid's job, by the way.
Yes.
That's what we all did too when we were kids, and still do, because we still are kids. So if they smell, 1,000 meters, against the wind, that you want them to be happy, what do they have to do? They have to resist.
Yeah.
So I love this clearing. There's an access consciousness clearing, which is what have you made so vital about making your kids happy? that keeps you in a constant state of judgment, of being and receiving. And everything that is times a godzillion, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes,
Right,
please.
wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So that's the access consciousness clearing statement, the pot, pock, and the blah, blah. And we're not going to explain it here. Sophie knows it. She uses it too in her work. So if you want to know what that is, the blah, blah, what it means and how it works, you can go to www.theclearingstatement.com and you have an explanation of every single word. So basically it just dissipates any point of view you have in any area and goes back to the point of creation where you can destroy and uncreate it, dissipate it, and get rid of it. So that's what we're going to do now. So the clearing was, what have you made so vital about making your children happy that keeps you in a constant state of judgment, being and receiving?
Yes.
Everything that is times a godzillion, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So that's like, it's basically like if you have a purpose in life and you think, okay, you have to find your higher purpose, then you are in a constant state of judgment because you've never found your purpose in life. So the same with kids. If you think your job as a parent is to make them happy and to make sure that everything like works for them, then you will always have to be in a constant state of judgment of you because you haven't fulfilled the mission of making your kids happy.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. And I think when they're older, it's easier to think that because they're making more their decisions. When they're younger, it's more like, but it's my job. It's my job.
Yes.
So it's also how like when you were saying all of this, I was like, wow. So how do I define myself in regards to my kids now? Because if I'm not supposed to be the one that makes them happy, then who am I? What am I?
Great question. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, exactly. So if it's not my job to make them happy, who am I? Well, so what if you as a parent are the person who creates the space for your children to find out who they are, who they can be, and what they truly like to create in life?
Yes, I like that a lot.
Right? Because if you are the space creator,
yeah.
And that's you can apply that in any area of your life. You can apply that to your spouse. You can apply that to your colleagues and the people who work for you and with you, where you always create that space for the person in your life. Now we talk about your kids, where they can find out, who am I? What do I actually like? Because when you are the space creator, you don't have to judge you. You are in total allowance of when they screw up or when they succeed. And it doesn't matter. You're like, okay, what else, honey? Like, what else is possible? What else could you choose? Okay, this didn't work out so well. How could you use this to your advantage?
Wow. Wow. That just like really so much, so much judgments. And I wanna point out something about the clearing statement is that when we ask, would you uncreate and destroy it all? It allows us to acknowledge that we have created it, which to me is re-empowering myself, because I'm like, okay, if I uncreate this, then I'm acknowledging that I created this. So I've got the power to change this kind of thing.
Yes. And that's the empowering thing. And I love that, especially for parents. I mean, I remember when I was doing the last exam, where you have to do a study as a psychologist. We know when you're done with university and you get your degree, before you get it, you have to do a study, and then you have to write a paper about it. And I did my study about parents who just got their first baby. And I was stunned by the amount of judgments they had. The second that they got parents, they changed to, from being kind of like cool and relaxed to, oh my God, I'm freaking out, I'm doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the thing when you are slipping into this role of I am a parent, and you have this definition of you, I am a parent. Like, how much are you actually downloading the judgments that are in every parent's world around the whole world?
Yeah.
Like, how much are you picking up Like if you always, in any role, if you say, I'm a kid, I'm a parent, I'm this, I'm that, what you're actually doing is you're boxing yourself into a role. And what that requires of you is to be aware of what that role needs you to be.
Yeah.
And the role of a parent needs you to be in constant judgment of you, that you're not doing enough, that you're doing things wrong. So what it's totally this, box of no choice and no possibility. And you're constantly aware of everybody else's judgment, every parent's judgments around the whole world. So what you can do when you find yourself in that place of judging you for being an inadequate parent, you go to that brilliant tool and ask, who am I being?
Yes.
Right? So like if you are in a constant state of judgment, who are you being? And you go, maybe you come up, oh, I'm being like my mom, or I'm being my mom, I'm being my dad, I'm being Mrs. Jones, I am being this and that, I'm picking up Mrs. Jones' judgments of her, whatever it is. But if you say, who am I being? It gives you the space of finding out, oh my God, I'm actually not being me. Because if you're not happy, you're not being you. If there's not a sense of space in your world, you're not being you. So when you ask, who am I being? And especially with your kids, you can say everything that is, I now destroy and uncreate it. And then you say right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Just try it out. What do you have to lose?
Right. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
So one of the most challenging thing is that everybody has a point of view about how I'm supposed to handle my daughter, including her father and my parents. So
can I ask you something?
Yes, please.
So what do you mean with handling? What
Okay, so basically, my daughter, when she was little, she walked really late. And so I was accused by many family members of not taking care of her properly because she was walking late, right? She was not walking, like she was 2 years old and she still was not walking. So they were like, you're doing something wrong. You're being a bad parent. She needs to go sit. And I knew that eventually she would walk, and it was just her doing her own thing. There was nothing wrong with her, but I was accused of that. Now, today, because she doesn't have as many friends as she'd like to have, I'm being told that, she's ADD, she needs to be on meds, da-da-da-da-da. And I have a different awareness of it. And I want to remain the space of creation, and I run her bars and things like that. So, but I'm being projected at all the time. And like her father is pushing me for treatment. So
yeah, but that's okay. So that's number one. That's the world we live in. So kids nowadays in any country are pushed to very soon to be pushed into that box of there's something wrong with you and we need to handle that. We need to fix it. And there are many different ways of doing that.
Yes.
And so notice again, that's the conversation we just had. That's where, where the world tries to push you into a box of, see, you're a parent, your kid doesn't function the way it should, so do something about it. And you feel that pressure. And in this world, we use, or people use pressure to get you to do something, right? So how can you use that question for you, the one you just had, like the question of how can I create more space for my kid to find out who they truly be, who they would like to be, and what they would like to create in life? What if you apply that question for you too and go, so what space can I create for me as a mom, as a Sophie, to know what I know here?
Yeah.
Right? So that's, as soon as you acknowledge as a parent that you know what you know, all that pressure becomes just an interesting point of view.
Right.
And the more often you do this, the more you go, oh, wow, okay, so all those projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections from the doctors, from the experts, from the teachers are just an interesting point of view. And those projections about, hey, you need to do something about your kid, is where they try to use pressure, like there's something wrong with your kid, that kind of pressure, to get you to do something that they have decided is right. So everything that is, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So one question that can help you create that space where you know that you know, and where you trust and acknowledge what you know, and where everybody else's point of view just becomes, oh, thank you for the information, and it doesn't pressure you anymore. So the question you can use is, what gift am I to my kids that I've never ever acknowledged? Get that energy. So truth, what gift are you to your children that you've never ever acknowledged?
Space.
Yeah. You are, what if your job is not to control your kids and their behavior, to make it right for other people? But what if your job is to be the creator of the space where they know that they know? And how much are you already doing that? And everywhere you haven't acknowledged that, and everywhere you use doubt to not know what you know, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. It's that doubt thing of, oh, now I've heard it from two people, and now another person said that there's something wrong with my kid, and oh my God, this amazing expert said that too, and oh wow, and my family. And then there's a point where it's like, the contraction starts. And what if you just, all of you listening, train yourself in that moment to go, okay, I'm noticing that I'm in a contracted mode right now because I'm started to listening and making other people's and experts' point of view right. Okay, what do I know about this situation? What gift am I to my kids that I have not acknowledged? And what if it's not my job to control their behavior? Could anybody control your behavior?
No.
Can anybody control your behavior? No.
Good luck with that.
Yes.
So I chose to do I chose to do the one thing that I felt was like the least invasive, I guess, which is that she's going to see a therapist on Friday for the first time. And to me, that was kind of a manipulation in everybody's world, where it's like, oh, here's somebody, she's just going to talk to her. But in everybody's world, it's like, oh, she's going to talk to the expert now, she's going to be okay. And I also want my daughter to have the space of everything that the therapist says to her is a choice, an interesting point of view. But what you just said now reminds me, wait, that's how she is anyway.
Yes. So what if you don't have to worry about your kids as much as you do?
Yeah.
What if you trust that they are not the effect of their surroundings? What if you trust that they're not the effect of experts, whatever their points of view are? What if you trust that they're way stronger than you thought they were?
Yeah.
Everything that doesn't allow that in your awareness, will you please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yes, go ahead.
My younger daughter does not like any kind of medicine. She just really, really hates medicine. So when she was born, I had planned the whole thing to have the meds so that I would not be feeling the pain and all of that. They gave me the strongest meds ever. The meds stopped. Like, they did not actually go through my body. They stopped where they injected them, but didn't go through. So I felt everything because my daughter decided she's not going to get the meds.
Wow. Yes.
It's amazing. Like, even in the womb, she was in control.
Yep, your kids are in control. And like, it's like many parents don't realize that, your kids own you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just had a class where there was a woman with her daughter, and her daughter was sitting next to her. She was 9, or she is 9. And I was bringing this up, like, do you know that your kids own you? And you should have seen that daughter's look. She's like, I'm 9 years old, and I know. Thanks for telling everybody.
I know. Yeah, they totally do, and it's Actually really cool. I like that. I like it because it allows me to have such a different perspective on life too.
Yeah. Because how much, like, the inadequacy that, the title is Tools to Stop Feeling Inadequate as a Parent. It's like, if you're like inadequacy, if you're feeling not enough as a parent, my question is, how much are you actually not receiving from your kids?
Yes.
So, I mean, so many parents think their job is to just, oh, I need to provide for my kid and I need to make sure they're okay, which is great. And so many of your kids come in desiring to contribute to you, to showing you a
Yes.
different possibility. And especially the kids that are called special or different, their difference is a gift to the world. Their difference is a gift to you. So what if you as a parent receive that brilliance and stop thinking that your job is to make them normal and make them fit in? Everything that is, will you all please destroy and uncreate it?
Yes,
Right,
please.
wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. And there's so many kids coming in now that are different. All the kids that are labeled with ADHD and ADD and autism and Asperger, all of them are extremely special, and they're
Yes.
classified as a wrongness and as a diagnosis, as something that needs to be treated, rather than, hold on a second, what is that difference actually holding as a possibility that is bringing this world to a totally different space of creation and production, right? So these kids have an amazing awareness of so many things around them, not only what's going on with them and the near surroundings. They have a sense of an awareness that's huge. Like, I don't know if you have kilometers, but if you do, you know what I mean. Like kilometers around them, and they pick up so much information and usually have no idea what to do with it. And then somebody comes and says, how do you feel? And they're like, what do you want me to say? Because they
Good.
have to, if they're asked, how do you feel? They have to take that vast amount of awareness, that sensing of what's going on around them, and box that into a feeling, which is like having to do this with their bodies. And they go, I don't know what you want from me. And then they want to answer your question. So to create a feeling, they have to take someone else's awareness and make them theirs. They might feel, Mr. John over there is depressed. Okay, how do I feel? They take Mr. John's depression and they go, oh, I'm sad today, just to answer your question, rather than asking them, hey, what are you aware of? If we start being aware of how these kids are functioning, how different they are, and start asking what's truly possible with this. What can we learn here? What contribution is this to a world? We would actually create a totally different world. We would go from wrongness to strongness. We would go from a world that looks at disease and all this focus on what's wrong and sick, to what is that difference holding as a possibility. And imagine this is creating a different world and a sustainable future where we can use the things that are called insane as the unique abilities that are truly changing the world. So truly, what else is possible? And you having kids, you having your sweet ones that are different, and you being a mom that acknowledges them for that. And that is such a gift. Do you even know what that creates?
Yes. And I I played this little game with her teacher one day because she was not doing well on tests. So I asked her teacher, would you mind just thinking the answers of the tests, not saying them out loud, but just thinking them while you're giving the test? And then she was student of the month after that.
That is brilliant. Okay, I think you need to say that again, because the people listening probably go, what did you say? How does that work? So this is an example how you can use kids who are special and their vast amount of awareness, and show them how they can use it to work for them, to create an easier life. So Sophie, please say that again. How can you apply that in tests?
I noticed that my daughter could pick up on what I was thinking very early on, right? So I knew that if I didn't have to speak, like she could read my mind, right? So she was not doing well on tests because tests are silly. And so one day I asked her teacher, I said, could you just try something for me? Could you just, when you give the test, just think about the test, think about the answers just once, right? And I told my daughter, I said, listen to your teacher's head, not to the other students' heads. So I just said that. And she kind of looked at me weird, but then she's like, okay, whatever. And then like a few weeks later, I got a letter saying that my daughter was suddenly student of the month because she was doing so well on tests. Because she was picking up the answers from her teacher's head and then writing them down. Wow. And it was phenomenal. It was really cool because the teacher thought, okay, whatever. Like she played with me, and my daughter followed instructions, but also I think she knew that she knew. So it just made things a lot easier for everyone.
That is such a brilliant example of how you can use your special gifts. You know, that's gifts that people have who have ADHD, autism, Asperger, and actually anybody who's asking, okay, so what am I aware of that I haven't acknowledged? And then using this ability to, okay, so what's going on in this person's world? What is this person actually feeling? What is this person thinking? And then you can use that awareness to make your life easier, like in school, you know, where you don't have to work so hard and study, and instead go, oh, what does the teacher want me to say here? What's the right answer here according to the teacher's head? And then you can pick up that information and write it down. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm starting to tell her to do this also with her friends. I'm like, okay, so what do these people want to hear from you for them to want to play with you? What is it you can say to them that will make them want to play? Like, nothing that you do or say is wrong, but they want to hear something different. So what is it that they want to hear? And so that's been pretty cool. She, her sister, who's got the normal game down very well, her sister is showing.
What do you mean the normal game? Like she knows how to act with other people or with kids? Okay.
Yeah, my youngest daughter, she is really aware of the social conventions, and she applies them. Like she actually doesn't really care who likes her and who plays with her, but she can tell this person likes to play with the ball and this person likes to talk about dolls. So she'll do that. She'll manipulate that. So she's teaching my oldest daughter. She's like, you know, look, this girl, she only wants to talk about this. So when you're with her, talk about that. Like, she's showing her.
That's like being on a date. You know, if you want to be interested in or interesting to the person, what do? You ask them questions like, what do you do? You know, what's your job? What do you like? What do you not like? And that's something that makes you interesting for that person, because you're interested in them. And I love that she's using this with her friends. She's like, oh, this person loves to talk about dolls. Let's talk about dolls. She's gonna love me. Brilliant.
Exactly. And she's actually really, like, she loves being by herself, my youngest daughter, but she gets that sometimes it's good to interact with people. So she'll totally use it to her advantage. And she's teaching her older sister how to do that. So it's really interesting. And I actually don't have a point of view about whether you have friends or not have friends. And that's the last piece I wanted to ask you about. But I can perceive that my daughter is picking up on, oh, if I don't have friends, then I'm not normal or I'm not good. She's picking up that from her dad or her other people.
So what if you ask her, so honey, would you like to have friends? And then if she says yes, you go, okay, so what is actually a friend to you? How would that look like? How if you have a friend and this works for you, how would that be? So that, with those questions, you make her aware of, what is friendship to me? What would I like? Like, for example, for me, a friendship is somebody who doesn't judge me, somebody who is grateful in allowance of whatever I be and doesn't need me to change. So what if you ask her those questions so she can go, okay, what's a friend to me? Because in that age group where she is right now and teenage later, what's the normal standard procedure?
Yeah.
Judgments, judgments,
Yeah.
comparison, and talking behind each other's backs and all that. I mean, that's normal in kids groups and teenagers. So if her point of view is having a friend that's there for me, that has my back, that doesn't judge me, then, and she has the expectation that she should have 10 friends to be successful or to be in or to be cool, because that's the point of view out there, especially with Facebook, you're supposed to have 1,000 friends and they all love you. And so it's the norm in this reality. Okay, the more friends, the more successful. So if you just have a conversation with her and go, honey, look, we live in a world where it's good, or it looks successful if you have a lot of friends. And this is just the standard out there. But what does being a friend mean to you? And what if you have one person, only one person that is that for you? Would that be a success? And what if you start being that one person for you? Would you be that space that invites more of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I think many of us listening and us talking here, it's like, have you ever belonged to a group, where any of you in the in group, no. I wasn't in the in group.
I wasn't either.
And I was like, okay, this is not even of interest to me, because what they're doing is judging and talking behind each other's backs. I'm sorry, but that's too boring, way too much work.
They didn't seem to have fun.
No. So, and some might go, oh, I always wanted to be in the in group. And then you go, but wait a second, if you look at who were these people, did you really want to be in that in group? Or did you pretend to want to be there? Or did you think you should have wanted to be there because everybody else wanted to be there? But if you apply that to any area of your life, you might go, okay, so what does truly work for me? And that's starting to be pragmatic. Like, what truly works for me, and what have I pretended should work for me because it seems to work for everybody else. So the same for your kid. If you just have that conversation, so she can get a sense of what works for her, that's where you are creating the space for her.
Gotcha.
To find out what she knows.
Yeah.
What is a friend to me? And living in the world where I'm supposed to have 10, 15, 20, 1,000 friends, what are the friendships like in this reality? Oh, people judging and talking behind each other's backs. Does this work for me? No. So what works for me, and how can I create this? Well, by starting to have my own back, by starting to not judging myself. So if you teach your kid, imagine if you teach your kids to not judge themselves, what would that change in the world? Wow. And what if you do this as a parent as well? What if you go, every time you feel inadequate, go, okay, cool. What is that creating? If I ask my kid to not judge themselves, what if I start not judging myself? And if you go and feel inadequate, you go and ask, who am I being? Mm-hmm. Like, who does this belong to? And everything that is. And then you can pot and pocket or whatever tool you would like to use, or just choose, no, I'm not going to go there this time. What else is possible?
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. And I do all of life comes to me with these joy, glory, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every morning with the kids in the car on our way to school.
You're doing magic with them. That's great. Yeah. Show them that magic is a possibility. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sophie, for your vulnerability and for your willingness to talk about what probably is in many parents' worlds, and they go, oh my God, thank you, Sophie. You said exactly what's going on for me. So big thank you for speaking for so many parents, and so for so many mothers. That's truly, truly a gift. Big thank you. And I hope this contributed to you. I hope this contributed to you guys listening. And there will be more Google Hangouts on this Pragmatic Psychology channel. And there's a book out there, and there's a webpage, SusannaMittermaier.com. And I'd love to hear from you. And maybe there's a topic that you would like us to talk about, and just let me know. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing this out in the world. Who else can this contribute to? And see you for the next Google Hangout.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.